Hi guys, so today is January the 3rd at 11:17 in the evening over here in the UK, and I am on watch mainly until 12 o'clock midnight Eastern time, which is 5 a.m. UK time. Reason for that is because this I've been looking at it again, obviously, and the fingers that George Bush has here in terms of three in front of the house and four in front of the hangman appears to me to suggest between maybe an interpretation suggesting between the third and the fourth, which would be at midnight. The other reason I think that may be the case is because when we look at the house a bit closer, if this is the 3rd of January 3-1, you may have a reference to 1 and 2 over here, which is 12, and that could be a reference to the time. Not only that, but obviously 3 and 1 make up the number 4, so you could have the 3rd of January as well as a reference to the number 4, meaning the 4th of January, and then reference to the number 12, which is midnight. And that time would be obviously between the 3rd of January and the 4th of January. And obviously that seems to have connections to the house. And my interpretation for that is the Capitol building, or at least the House of Representatives. So keep an eye out for that. Still today, tomorrow, and even leading on to the 5th. As mentioned, there's indications for the 5th as well, on the eyebrow, other places throughout the video. Looking at this particular scene here, it was pointed out a long time ago by J.K. Bugout that there's numbers down here, and they're 1, 2, and sorry, 1, 2, and 3. Just kind of, it's down there where the bar is. Sorry, I can't really show you there, but the number 3 is just down there, so that may be suggesting maybe the 1st, 2nd, 3rd of January. It could also suggest the January the 23rd, as in the 1st, and then 2 and 3. But in this interpretation, I'm looking at it as the 3rd of January. I do have the 23rd on the watch as well, so that's not being ignored at all. But again, if that's the case, this scene, particularly with the hand coming down from the sky towards the Lighthouse Penis Church depiction, seems to suggest rapture. And if they are suggesting any sort of rapture in here, it would be a false rapture, because no one knows when that's going to happen. So if they're depicting a time and a date for something like that to happen, it would be a false occurrence. The light seems to be suggesting a time here. You've got the long hand extending all the way out there, and then you've got the short hand coming down here, and that would be 11:15, just after 11:15. And if that's the case, and it's talking about the 3rd, it's got the number 3 down here, and that may be talking about today. This is just an interpretation, bear in mind. Then obviously that may suggest 11:15, a false rapture or some kind of event like that, and then 12 o'clock between the 3rd and the 4th, you have an event that happens, maybe connected with some sort of missile, because obviously the house is, drawn in that typical house shape, but it's elongated and it's got the fire around it. It doesn't just suggest a house on fire like the Capitol building of the House of Representatives. It also suggests some sort of rocket or missile, which is again emphasized over here. And you've got the shark submarine, which again suggests some sort of projectile. My thoughts around this is, the way they've drawn it is like fat, and it kind of has the window at the top, which, in this image it's blurred, so you could easily think of that as a radiation symbol, the way that they draw them on the nuclear warheads, and that may be connected to North Korea. Obviously there's Russia and there's China, and there's obviously the point of the whole thing being a false flag, but that doesn't mean that the actors from the other countries won't actually perpetrate the deed. So the reason I think North Korea is because there's signs that they, as I said, they're continuing their nuclear program. Their speech to the United States was kind of like, don't push us push us with sanctions. But you know, that's not really being listened to. The reports I brought you guys earlier in 2018, the United States Army had moved 70 kilometers back from the DMZ. They cleared the mines, they destroyed the guard towers there. So it's pretty much clear for, you know, an advance across the DMZ if North Korea was to, you know, choose to do so. And then the Italian ambassador or diplomat for North Korea has just gone missing. No one knows if he's defected or if he's gone into hiding. Obviously, I'm keeping my eyes on Italy as well because they've got Mount Etna there and the tsunami scenario there for the Mediterranean. Not just Mount Etna, but you've got Stromboli as well, which is currently erupting. So, you know, it's also very close to, you know, the coast of Italy, which is shaped like the boot, which is, you know, where we get the whole volcano next to the shoe kind of scenario. Not just a connection to a volcano and Obama, as in Kilauea, but a volcano and a shoe, as in either Stromboli or Mount Etna next to Italy, which is shaped like a boot. So keeping my eyes on that. Obviously inside the apple you've got 2 and 1, which again could connect to 3, so there may be multiple things we're looking out for occurring later on in this day in another region. And then you've got the government shutdown, which is at the moment 12 days, 18 hours in. By the time it gets to 12 o'clock midnight Eastern time, that would be exactly 13 days of the government being shut down. Obviously 13, you know, unlucky number for some, synonymous with bad things and witchcraft and stuff like that, evil rituals, but it may also be depicted on the chalkboard as well, which is, give me 1 second, see if I can get back on it. One moment, please, guys. I'll stop it there. So, which is also another interpretation for the flame on the right side of the house on the chalkboard, 1 and 3. So not only is it the 3rd of January at 12 o'clock midnight, also being the 4th of January, 3rd and 4th at the same time. It will be 13 days after the government shutdown. If we're looking at the House and the Congress, House of Representatives, what they're going to be talking about, the government shutdown. So there may be a connection there with midnight and that being 13 days since the government being shut down, as well as being halfway exactly between the 3rd and the 4th of January. I was looking at the Capitol building earlier today, you know, obviously just keeping an eye out for anything potentially happening. And I noticed must have been about an hour ago now, 2 guys came up onto the roof and they took this flag down, but they haven't taken the others down. And I was just curious as to why they've taken one of the flags down, but not the other 2. And I was, you know, particularly lucky to, you know, witness it while it was happening. But they haven't put it back up, and you know, there was nothing wrong with it. As I was looking at it, there was no rips or anything like that. They've just taken it down, and I thought that may be significant. Went on to Google, just typed in flag down, and in the first box with Collins Dictionary definition, flag down. If you flag down a vehicle, especially a taxi, you wave at it as a signal for the driver to stop, and that's where I stopped, because that a signal. I don't know if that's significant, but flag down is a signal which may be, you know, connected to an event that could take place here later on, you know, possibly 12 midnight, or even something occurring around 11:15, which seems, I don't know, if that's what they're trying to depict here, like a rapture, then I don't know how they're going to pull that off. But if something like that does occur, just be aware that it's, I can't even tell you it's false because I don't know, but it's most likely, based on this video, to be false. But, you know, just use your prayers and stuff and discernment, because I'm not gonna. I don't want to be responsible for um, anyone's decisions when it comes to their faith or religion. So that's pretty much my video, you guys. Just breaking down a few more things. The third and the fourth, that could be saying between the third and the fourth, which is 12 o'clock. Again, that may be emphasized on the house with a 12 reference here. 3rd of January, as well as making up number 4, so between the 3rd and the 4th, 12 o'clock midnight. And maybe 45 minutes before that, or 43 minutes before that, something occurs looking like the rapture. My interpretation. 45 minutes after that would be exactly 13 days after the government shutdown, and that all again links back to the house on the board, which may actually show the number 13, as well as looking out for the Capitol building, the House of Representatives. I'm also keeping my eyes on New York, because there does appear to be a reference to N and Y inter as well. There could also be an upside down W and also an M. So there's quite a few things that start with those letters, significant things. Washington with the W, Mar-a-Lago with the M. Drawing a blank right now, but I'm sure there's plenty of others that you guys will be aware of. That's it. So keep your eyes out. 11:40, 11:15, midnight. Nothing happening there, then still keep your eyes open. I've got my watch until the 5th, and then I jump to the 11th, and from there to the 21st and the 23rd, and then that's January finished. 5 days left in, sorry, January finished. 31st of January is also something, but I'll bring more information on that later. And then there's the 5 days left in the year of the dog in February, and then it's pretty much over, unless you start using the Julian calendar, in which case you're 13 days behind. So the 5th of February would be the 18th of February, and that would be the very last you could possibly stretch it to in terms of the year of the dog and any of the calendars. So you guys, hopefully nothing happens, pray nothing happens. Have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and may the Heavenly Father bless you.